right, welcome to the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. This morning, I am Chike Ubogo. On the agenda this morning, we'll be looking at three major issues. We'll be looking at the state of crisis in the Middle East, Iran, Israel, US, Qatar, everything there. And we'll also look at what is happening with the coalition in Nigeria. There is a coalition coming up with a political party. And then, Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State officially defecting to the All Progressives Congress. This was an emotional moment. However, his reasons for the campaign to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party has brought series of discussions on and off social media. But let's start it straight. Iran yesterday launched missiles at a U.S. military base in Qatar in what is said was retaliation for American strikes against its nuclear sites over the weekend. Witnesses reported hearing loud bangs in the sky above the capital, Doha, while videos showed bright flashes in the sky as air defense systems attempted to intercept missiles. It is the latest escalation in a conflict involving Iran, Israel, and the United States, which has seen tensions in the Middle East soar to unprecedented levels in recent days. Here is what we know. And I'll be bringing on my guest this morning to do justice to some of these thoughts this morning. And welcome to the studio, John Izuchukwu, a development researcher and an in-house analyst. John, good morning. It's good to have you again this morning.
Good morning, Chike. I'm always glad to be here.
All right, we're talking Iran. What do we know? What did Iran target and why? Iranian missiles, they say, targeted the largest U.S. base, military base in the Middle East, and that's Al Udeid. In what it said was a response to the U.S. bombing 3 of its nuclear program facilities on Saturday evening. And this is where I come to you, John. Yes, it's a U.S. bombed, well, obviously bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. And then you want to ask, these are intercontinental ballistic missiles. These are weapons of mass destruction. And then the question is, how about radiation? You know, it's been a talking point. If you have a blast, if you destroy nuclear sites, of course you've activated radiation. So how many people have died? What is really playing out? Was there actually a blast from America?
Well, from all media reports, there was a blast. The intention was to check the Iranian government or regime and their intention to, attack Israel and, of course, America, who is the known ally of Israel. But when you look at the fact that President Donald Trump is saying Iran should not make any move to retaliate those attacks, it's like beating a child and saying the child should not cry. And we need to come of age that nobody is the monopoly of violence. This country, Iran itself, is aware that America will always support Israel. And so they are also preparing. And I think that what they have done is to send a signal to the America that the days of bullying small countries are gone. You check, if it were about 20 years ago, there was no way a Ukraine would have stood up against a Russia.
Yeah.
And so what is simply telling you is that the world is changing. The dynamics of global war is changing.
But not to the detriment of people unleashing or producing weapons that could wipe off a generation.
Chike, all over the world, there are conflict merchants. And what they do is to produce new weapon, I think every 10 years or so. I can't really Remember now. And what they do is that when they produce it, they test it somewhere. What they do by testing it to sell it out, and they cause conflict somewhere, and they try the market, which is what they are doing to Africa. So it's not new. It's you see, that's the world we're in. There will really not be peace, as it were, in the classical definition of peace. What we're saying is an understanding that even though we are all at war, but an understanding to still live together, you know, in our word, and still, you know that we cannot deliberately destroy our word by what we produce, you know, by ourselves. But to say that Iran should keep quiet, I do not think they should keep quiet. They should show that they are also a sovereign state. They're a sovereign state. They have the liberty to defend their own territory. And if you come all the way from America to bomb their facilities, that's millions of dollars. That's years of investment that has gone down the drain. I mean, they have a way to tell you, yes, we know you're a big brother, you can bully us, but we also want to make a statement that we are not one of your states. We're a sovereign country, we're a sovereign state. And I mean, I expected it.
Oh, well, many people have said yes, even though there was a blast there by the Americans. However, the issue of radiation, which is key, especially when there is a blast, that radius should be evacuated, and that radius should at least have some casualties, but no casualties have been recorded as at this moment.
You need to know that Iran is investing a lot in science, and so they must have done the needful. You know, you see, nobody plans for a war and is not fully prepared. I believe that Iran is not just, they didn't just wake up to this. They already map out all that is needed. You know, some of these guys are not like us in Africa, in Nigeria in particular, where there is fire brigade approach that we take to issues of national interest. I think that Iran is fully prepared for whatever is the consequence of all of this, brewing war. But we hope that, as time goes on, we see how things unfold, and if they will definitely agree to whatever agreement has been made.
All right. Al-Udeid is home to the U.S. military headquarters for all air operations in the region, and some British military personnel also serve there on rotation. Meanwhile, Iran launched a missile at U.S. base in Qatar in response to strikes. The attack was first confirmed by Iranian state media and later by the military. The U.S. had previously warned Iran not to respond to its strikes on nuclear facilities and urged leaders in Tehran to agree to a diplomatic end to hostilities in the region. All right. However, yesterday evening, U.S. President Donald Trump says a ceasefire between Israel and Iran is now in effect and tells both countries, please do not violate it. End of quote. Let's, let me read out what Donald Trump posted on his tweets yesterday. It says, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions. For 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that would have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. And it goes on to say, God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless the Middle East, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. Signed, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. But you see, from this tweet here, let's start from where he called it a 12-day war, the 12-day war. I know movie experts will start shooting movies with this title and even bringing up what really happened in Israel and Iran there. But one thing that struck me there is the congratulations to both countries, Israel and Iran, for having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end. Now, what transpired? How come Donald Trump became the messiah, the mediator at this time?
You see, it's a tactics. What they have done, basically, is to, in a way, they have threatened Iran, and Iran is forced to accept offers that are thrown at them. But I also think that the hypocrisy of the West, when you are saying that the ceasefire should begin with Iran, what gives Israel preference? Why is it not starting with Israel? Why should it be Iran that will start first? And when you weigh the monumental losses in this 12-day war, I think it's been more on the side of the Iranians. And
there's this part in his tweet where he said that upon the 12th hour, Israel will start a ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted during each ceasefire. There's a part he said, talked about during each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. Who is the other side?
That's the Iran. So you see, we must call out the hypocrisy of the West for what it is. And what it is that all the time they've always been behind Israel. And that's why some of us are saying that if we are part of a united nation, if we're all trying to look and build a world where justice, because that's what the United Nations preaches, is justice, fairness, and equity. If we are really trying to build a world where peace, at least in the, at the minimal of what peace should be, we need to carry along everybody. But if these major players all the time, they will queue behind Israel, I don't think it's a way to advance justice. You are saying one thing and doing a different thing at the same time. However, it's important that peace is allowed, because we begin to see the ripple effect of this war, on other economies of the world. And look at what has happened in Qatar. So the war is now moving from Israel to Iran, and then Qatar is now having a blow of it. And I saw a news yesterday that even in Nigeria, they are warning, the U.S. is warning Nigerians to, the people in the embassies to leave, because it may be the next point of attack. It means that there's going to be an attack on U.S. military base across the world, and that will automatically
even
ignite.
After the truce?
No. Before this truce,
okay.
now,
all right.
It means that if this truce had not, gone through, it means that we're almost walking into another world war. So it's important that we all accept peace and then move on.
All right. Well, several hours after Trump's announcement, the Israeli government confirms it agrees to the ceasefire and warns it will respond forcefully to any violation. Iran earlier said it would only stop its attacks if Israel did the same. Meanwhile, Israel says 4 people were killed in overnight attacks from Iran. That's according to the state media in Tehran, and saying a last round of missiles was fired before the ceasefire came into effect. Tehran also faced a barrage of intense attacks overnight, right? And this comes after Iran launched missiles at a U.S. base in response to strikes on its nuclear sites over the weekend. Meanwhile, Qatar said all the missiles were intercepted, so none hit Qatar. Qatar was prepared too. So you see, all these things look like a script. It looks scripted.
Well, Chike, I don't think so. You see, this is how global crisis begin.
Yes,
it will begin like
this
a
is looking
play.
like a planned work, a planned job. It looks scripted. Okay, you said you're attacking the U.S. base in Qatar, but Qatar is saying that
Because
it was intercepted.
yeah, of course, these guys are also prepared. It's only in this part of the world we are doing elders-farmers clashes. But wars have gone beyond that.
So these guys have gone so far.
They've gone several
but we are
steps
thinking
ahead
about
of us.
using cutlasses and swords to attack farmers.
So, and of course, is the peculiarity of where we find ourselves.
Interesting.
Yes, and because these guys are major players in their terrain, and so they know that there will be aggression from any external forces, and they need to be prepared fully so that they can be defended. And that's also why they have strong ally. Some of them have America as a strong ally, so that in the days where Iran, which is the tiger in that region, wakes up and wants to destroy everybody, they can have people to run to. So that's how it is.
Before we leave the international scene, let's look at the ripple effects on Africa. Now, the Middle East is always prepared. Many of these countries, not the Western countries as it were, but these countries in the Middle East are thinking ahead, doing research and development.
Sure.
However, in Africa, the reverse seems to be the case. You just mentioned now that we are thinking, especially in Nigeria, we are looking at how to end the farmer headers invasion, not farmer headers clashes.
Anyway,
they really don't clash.
Yeah.
What we see most times is invasion of farms by headsmen.
Because the herders are more prepared.
Yeah.
So they subjugate,
dominate
they subdue
the farmers and even take up their farms and eat up their crops. So it's an invasion of farms. And so what we're thinking of in 2025 in Nigeria right now is how to repel herdsmen clashes and how to take care, how people will have 753 duplexes and how EFCC will be thinking of hitting up with this so-called Yahoo boys and even Yahoo politicians, because we have them too.
It's unfortunate, but you see, globally, most countries are 1,000 times ahead of us in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. As I speak to you, if you go to Kenya and to Rwanda, those guys are far ahead of us technologically.
But we are the giant of Africa.
Yeah, well, in terms of our population, in terms of our resources, in terms of our finances, because we are literally the one financing ECOWAS. So that's how we play our big brother. Not in terms of human capital development and in terms of investment in science and development or research. You see, when you look at basic areas of development, most of these countries, South Africa, those guys have invested so much in health, so much in education. In fact, our colleagues who are, some of Pretoria University, for example, Johannesburg University, you see that some of these guys, research is not their problem. They have money to fund research. And so down here, we are not ready for development. And that's why we're saying, may we not have issue with other countries. That's when you will know how weak we have been over the years. We have been depleted over the years. And that's why we're also saying that those who are leading us should wake up. The world is waiting for nobody. Just as if you fail to develop yourself, the world will not wait for you. The world is moving at a very fast pace. So you'll be outdated in few minutes. And so it's a concern for any right-thinking leaders.
All right, let's leave in the international matters now. Over the weekend, while Iran and Israel, US, and other countries were thinking of how to repel missiles, interballistic continental missiles, nuclear weapons, and nuclear sites in Akwa Ibom State. Governor Umar Eno of Akwa Ibom was formally received into the All Progressives Congress on Saturday in a huge rally in Uyo, attended by dignitaries from across the country, including Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, 21 APC governors, National Working Committee members, and other party chieftains. The 30,000 capacity football stadium was full to capacity, with overflow swarming adjoining streets. No fewer than 30 private jets were parked at the airport on the outskirts of Uyo as at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday when the event began at the stadium. APC now has 22 governors, 4 of whom are in the South-South region, an unexpected turn of events for a party founded 12 years ago. Home to the nation's hydrocarbons resources, the region has traditionally been voting right of the center since Second Republic. Governor Umoh-Enoh's defection is therefore a hugely courageous move, a major shift in Akwa Ibom politics, and a further boost to the re-election chance of President Tinubu, who may be facing a drop in approval rating in the northern part of the country. Well, Enoh's movement into the APC has been widely received by Akwa Ibom people because of the expected benefits which the governor laid out in his emotional speech at the rally. Let's get to listen to Governor Enoh Umah.
He believes that this alignment will bring that long-standing dream to reality.
With the APC, we will realize our deep sea port, and that is our plea. For over 30 years, Akwa Ibom have struggled.
no doubt in my mind that with this collection, we are going to set agenda. More importantly, we are going to enforce social ethics. Because part of the problem of Nigeria is that the state is too powerful and the society is too weak. So when the state begins to misbehave, the weak society has no power to hold them into control. So we begin to do social ethicizing. So we not only report, we will not only inform, we will also set agenda.
disalignment will bring that long-standing dream to reality.
With the APC, we will realize our deep sea port. And that is our plea. For over 30 years, Akwa Ibom have struggled to have a deep sea port. Today, we are reassured that the federal government will show us the order of reciprocity by helping us.
Governor Umoh Enoh there. Welcome back. John, you listened to Governor Umoh Enoh, and he gave his reasons for joining the All Progressives Congress. He says it's born out of strength, and then that now that he's in the APC, there will be a deep sea port, promises upon promises for defection. So with such a move, would you say that Governor Umoh Enoh has an ideology?
I would rather say that is a weak movement.
Weak movement?
He didn't move out of strength because Akwa Ibom State is one of the richest states in Nigeria. And the fact that he wants to be in alignment with the center, knowing that the Senate president is from that state, and the Senate president is an APC member. So it is commonsensical to conclude that he's just aligning with the top, not because he's going to burn out anything significant for the state. For 30 years, Akwa Ibom State is one of the states where some very staunch PDP members came from. You can still remember Obon Victor Attah, who were pioneer and founding members of the PDP. And so there was nothing they wanted to get, they would not have gotten under the PDP. So it was not their priority. So they were busy doing what would give them what they prefer, not what the people prefer. So I don't think that is a tenable excuse. What is known to all Nigerians is that they want to be where they'll be safe, where EFCC will not come after them. They want to be where...
But he's a preacher, man. Why should the EFCC come after a pastor?
Chike, you remember Jolin Yame. He was a reverend. And he was also arrested and...
Is it that when they wear the gubernatorial cassock...
A lot of fraudulent act as a governor.
Yeah, but is it that these preacher men, when they wear the gubernatorial cassock, their hands are stained with sin and death?
I think it's not about their designation as a preacher man. A corrupt person is a corrupt person, no matter where you put him. Put him in the university, he will still be corrupt. Put him in secondary school, put him in the supermarket, he will be corrupt. Put him in the studio here, he will be corrupt. If he's corrupt, it doesn't matter where you put him.
So a corrupt man or a corrupt, you just used Jolly Nyame, Reverend Jolly Nyame of former Taraba State governor as an example. So after the whole debacle, he will get back to the church and preach to the congregation.
Well, because God is a forgiving God. So let's say, I don't think that's...
Well, let's move on. Let's move on. Well, I just wish the people of Akwa Ibom well. A new political association known as All Democratic Alliance, ADA, has submitted an application to INEC requesting to be registered as a political party. The group is promoted by well-known politicians, mostly APC and PDP members, including Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, Nasir El-Rufai. But Peter Obi is staying aloof, encouraged by his supporters not to play second fiddle in whatever arrangement. The emergence of ADA has created some buzz among some PDP members who feel frustrated by the internal wrangling in their party and the duplicitous role of the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. But ADA's future will depend on Atiku Abubakar and his recurring presidential ambition. He's a perennial contestant. If the former vice president insists on running in 2027, will he go against the unwritten understanding that the presidency should alternate between the North and South every 8 years?
If you ask me, this coalition will fail.
How?
Because the coalition of disgruntled political element. This is not a coalition of political party.
Disgruntled political elements.
Rotimi Amaechi is in the media, is dissatisfied with the APC and President Tinubu. Nasir El-Rufai the same thing, and he is coming from the PDP, and he has contributed in killing the PDP or in putting the PDP in a state of coma. And so he wants to, cross carpet and form a new political movement. That movement is going to die because it's built around people. And when an ideology, when an association is built around people, not around an ideology, not around a system, it will collapse. Because these persons are people of, they are not the kind of person Nigeria want to see as an alternative to the current ruling elite. It's the same people trying to, change the nomenclature, give themselves a new name. But ADA will not be that name that can save them because their persons are in the public. We know them. And so if Amaechi was 8 years as governor, 8 years as minister, 8 years in the parliament, the legislative arm of the state, those are they benefited hugely from Nigeria. The same way with Atiku Abubakar.
So let me pick Rotimi Amaechi for a case study here. Rotimi Amaechi was also disgruntled under the PDP. He moved to the APC. Maybe he couldn't
No, they formed the new PDP.
Yeah, the NPDP,
and the NPDP
that transmodified to the APC today in 2014. Now, he's disgruntled again. What is he still looking for? The PDP couldn't give him the joy. He went to the APC, he became minister, but he's not happy. And now he's moving again to ADA.
I think it's about...
In Yoruba, what is ADA?
I don't know.
They call it Ada?
Well, but
okay.
You see,
ADA.
You see, these persons, over the years, the ambition is to become president. You've seen how much Atiku Abubakar is willing to do anything to clinch the office of the presidency.
Since 1992, he has been there.
He's been there. And you see, you should understand that in life, there is such a thing as destiny. There's such a thing as fate. If it's not given to you, it's not given to you. You'll forget about it and move on with your life. But again, we need to be careful. And that's why we will not allow them bully Nigerians into accepting the fact that a northerner should replace Mr. President. There's an unwritten agreement. It has to be turn by turn, the turn of the South, and Mr. Tinubu is now the one there. It will be unfair. It will be undemocratic to now mobilize to remove him. And I think that this coalition is dead on arrival. It's not going to fly.
However, did you listen to former Governor Nasir El-Rufai yesterday, where he talked about not that he is happy with the alliance, with the coalition, that all of them have not, at this moment, declared that any of them wants to run as president. Maybe they are just sizing each other and playing the cat and mouse game.
Nasir El-Rufai's antecedent shows that he is never in anything that will not benefit him and the North the more. Since he became FCT minister, there has never been anything that he does that he doesn't project the North above the South. So, and I don't think that anybody in the South can be this fooled at this particular point in time, no matter your interest. I'm of the opinion that Mr. President, he may not have been the best of that we need at this point in time, but for the sake of the unwritten rule, I do not think that a northerner should be our president in 2027. For me, because I have not benefited anything from this gun, but I think if a northerner was there for 80 years and he destroyed this country, that even members of his own clan are saying under him, Nigeria went down the precipice the more. It should not be now that they are forming a coalition, and I'm seeing an Amaechi who is there. Of course, that's what he has always done. He was there, and he masterminded the removal of his own kingsman. People who brought him into power, who gave him opportunity to lead the state. Jonathan was his kingsman. He championed the cause to remove Jonathan. I think that is not new. He's always done that. Under Buhari, you heard the video, the audio that leaked, where he was mocking Buhari and saying Nigeria was done for, that this government can't bring any development to Nigeria. And he virtually denied that he never said that. But it was his voice, and it was clear. He was making such statement in a particular fora where they were.
It could just be a political statement and not taken with maybe taken with a pinch of salt.
Well, but I think that these people should not be taken seriously. Nigerians we need a viable and strong alternative to what we have today, not these same old men recycling themselves.
All right, if we go by your premise, you say that Atiku Abubakar becoming the presidential candidate of this party might just be the litmus test for the survival of that party. I assure you, he will never be able to get a million. He will never be able to get a 10,000 votes from this country. All right. Meanwhile, opposition leaders under the coalition movement have applied to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to register the All Democratic Alliance as a political party ahead of the 2027 general elections. The coalition is spearheaded by former President Atiku Abubakar. Meanwhile, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, former political advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Monday, identified 3 Nigerians among the coalition who should not contest the 2027 presidential election, like what he posited. Baba Ahmed said former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Governor Rotimi Amaechi, Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, and Rotimi Amaechi of Rivers State should not aspire to be Nigeria's president. The former presidential aide said Atiku should step back and sponsor a younger candidate. That's what you said about recycling the same set of people. Let me say that the tendency or the propensity of projecting Amaechi is high. He's from the south. And I don't think that Amaechi is ready. What if another southerner comes in and then into this same party? What if eventually a Peter Obi is cajoled and brought into the alliance and becomes the candidate of the party? I don't think that Peter Obi will survive where Nasir El-Rufai is, where Atiku Abubakar is, even though he's his former boss in the PDP. I don't think the person of Peter Obi can survive in that arrangement because he will not be given that ticket. And even if he gets that ticket, because of the persons in that party, it will fail woefully. So you're just you're trying to pick Rotimi Amaechi? Chike, we're in Nigeria and we need a strong alternative. Things can't continue this way. There will be no future. It's not. It's not. I mean, so Rivers did not become... Let me put you on the spot. Who would you pick as a strong alternative? I mean, a party or an individual? An individual. At the moment, all of these guys are above 60. They will not be able to deliver. Their hands are tight. All of them are involved in one thing or the other as far as this country is concerned. I would suggest if we have a young Nigerian, even if he's not known, we can sell him, who is not tied by any of these encumbrances in government and is somebody who is innovative and creative that can champion a change. You see, somebody can come into government today, all of them will run out of this country. I'm not saying that somebody like Sowore is person, doesn't have the charisma of being a president. How do you mean? He's more or less an activist. How do you mean? Chike, all over the world. You see, we need people who are intelligent and, you know, there's a way a leader that will lead to over 200 million Nigerians should appear. Are you insinuating I'm not saying no. He's not intelligent? He is, but are you saying he's not a good leader? Even when his party people call him leader? Activists don't make good leaders. Of course, that's a standard rule. Activists don't make good. They don't make good managers. He has his place. Yeah. But I'm saying that if they release guys who are, you know, coming together, have the interest of Nigeria, they can shop for a smart, credible young Nigeria who they can project. And then we can sit back and say, if this person is a strong alternative,
to these older men. Well, let's go for this person. And I tell you, that will garner more support. But if they come around again, I tell you, Mr. President is going to win landslide.
Well, when you say activists don't make good managers, I'll remind you that Senator Adams Oshomole became a senator, became a governor.
What became of Edo State under his watch?
Well, before we leave, Baba Ahmed says former Vice President Atiku Abubakar should be a father figure to aspiring candidates. Well, would we be able to pick Baba Ahmed's voice this morning? Let's pick his voice before we call it a wrap on the show this morning. Baba Ahmed.
You have a very prominent member of the PDP, a founding member of the PDP, being the vice president for 8 years. He competed 3 times, contested 3 times. President Atiku, highly respected person. Would you respect, and I've made this public, would you respect to him? I think he should be a hero of democracy, but I don't think he should aspire to even lead this country. I think he should be a father figure. He should be involved in the building of an alternative to APC, but he should bring in new blood, new perspectives, new people, and say, the future belongs to you. We will stand behind you. Amechi should do the same thing. Verify if he feels he can handle his own ego, should be part of this thing. But those faces should not be the ones that are telling Nigerians, give us power and we will do different.
So you expect them to be at the background?
Absolutely. And look, if you have contested for vice president for presidency for 3 times and you don't get it, and you're approaching 80, for goodness sake, I mean, something should...
Baba Ahmed there on a television program there. You quickly want to react to this in just 1 minute before...
Oh, certainly. That's a sharp and a smart way of looking at it. These guys are out. They've served Nigeria. They've benefited from Nigeria. They should go sit down and project a younger Nigeria to advance our cause. We're in a crossroad, and history is beckoning us to change the narrative. And if they can be that vehicle that can project that Messiah, that Savior, it will be to their credit as heroes of democracy.
Well, I beg your pardon. I refer to him as Dati Baba Ahmed, but he is actually Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Thank you, Johnny Zuchukwu, for being here today.
Thank you, Chike. It's my pleasure.
All right, let's keep this conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The handle is at Dominion Broadcast, and on the app X is at Dominion Cast. You can visit our website at www.dominion.org.ng. My name is Chike Ubogu. Bye for now.